Hey guys, what's up? It's Finch here. You know how some people play Nuzlocke in game where they try and go through the entire game without letting their Pokemon die, and if they do, then they're not able to revive them. They just put them in a box and they can no longer use them again. So they get to the point where it gets really challenging later on in the game if everything's dying repeatedly. Well, imagine doing that, but doing that on Pokemon Showdown. And imagine not only in Pokemon Showdown, like on the low ladder, but imagine doing that in one of the biggest tournaments of all time, the World Cup of Pokemon, filled with some of the best players, some of the most noteworthy players. Now imagine that happening. Someone nuzlocking the World Cup Pokemon. So for those of you who don't know how the World Cup Pokemon works, the first round, everyone that's starting plays 3 opponents. Of those 3 opponents, generally, if you go 2-1 or 3, you're doing well, but it doesn't really matter what your individual record is. It matters what your team record is, because if your team wins a majority of their games, they're going to advance to the top 8, which is the playoffs. Rob Jr. happens to be my teammate, and I don't usually cover my teammates' games, but Rob Jr. accomplished something today that has probably very rarely, if ever, been done before. He won all 3 of his first round games, which the third of which was played today, in 6-0 fashion, which is just immaculate. He 18-0'd his opponents. He nuzlocked them. So I'm going to go through all 3 games and just kind of show you guys how amazing his performance was, because I think it's really cool, and I think the Nuzlocke theme is kind of amusing. But before that, I just want to say that about 40 to 45% of my viewers, you guys watch these videos consistently, and it means the world to me. Like 500, 600 you every single video, honestly. View my stuff and interact with me is great, but a lot of you guys aren't subscribed, so if you guys enjoy my content, it'd be great if you could subscribe. I'm not going to force you guys to do anything, because you can do what you want. It's a free world, but yeah, just something to consider. Anyway, thank you so much for the support. Now let's get on into these games. So Rob Jr.'s first game was against Philosopher, who's a fairly newer player on Team India, probably one of the least experienced players he was playing, because the other 2 players he played were very established players. It wasn't an easy group. It wasn't a cakewalk by any stretch of the imagination, but Rob did not give a fuck. So right off the bat, Philosopher was trying to kind of cheese past him with some Togekiss semi-stall with a Dragapult. It's pretty interesting. Rob was using just a pretty humble team, really standard looking. We got Mandibuzz plus Toxapex, the common defensive core we see to help against Urshifu and just Excadrill and whatnot, Speaking of Excadrill, he has one of his own, coupled with a Dragapult, Magearna, and a Clefable. So let's get into this game now real quick. So we're going to see Magearna lead off here against Chansey, and he's going to go for the Volt Switch here. Not on. I guess Philosopher didn't think he'd Trick turn 1, so Rob just Volts to Clefable. That makes sense. And we're going to find out what Clef this is. He goes for Rocks turn 1. It makes some sense. Yeah. So Rocks up on both sides. And Stun Sport ended up Pex. It's a great play for Philosopher, because it's going to be hard for Pex to hit through every single turn, and it could be crucial against things like the Togekiss and the Dragapult, so that's smart. And then he goes for Thunder with his Clefable, which came in, and it turns out that it was a Life Orb Thunder Clef, which is interesting, but it seems to be a specially defensive variant of the Pex, so I didn't really mind that too much. Now Drill comes out here, and yeah, it takes Life Orb damage from the Moonblast to 27%, which is pretty important to get that chip off it, but now Rob goes for the Rapid Spin there. Yeah, that's smart, and I think he predicts the Defog here in Toxics. No, he goes Magearna. Never mind, he goes Magearna on the knockoff. So that removes the Choice Specs, which is not great, but it's okay, because the Amoonguss comes in here now on a Volt Switch, and that's going to allow in the Dragapult. And Dragapult does look pretty good here, but not amazing, it's just Chansey. But then he just drops his Specs Draco, and for some reason Philosopher stays in, so all of a sudden it's a 6-5 game, despite having 2 Fire types and a Clefable. The Specs Draco just got a kill there in the first 10 turns of the game, so interesting, but it was a good call by Rob Jr. to stay in there and do what he did. Anyway, Excadrill comes in again here, and Excadrill honestly looks pretty menacing to this team. Mandibuzz comes in here now, and it's going to take an Iron Head for 31%, so it's not even a physically defensive Mandibuzz. Or it might have some physical defense, but not max, but either way, he roosts up, so now all hope is lost for Philosopher. He still has 5 healthy Pokemon. He goes to the Clef on the Toxic as well, which obviously is not going to take Toxic damage, so Drill comes in here now, and the Drill can come in on a Combine, that's great, and while Iron Head might not kill the Clef in 1, it's going to 2-KO it easily, so it's kind of a turn to switch out, and yeah, Iron Head here for Rob Jr. again, and now he goes to Magearna once more on a Foul play, which only does 11%, so it's going to scare out the Mandibuzz, which is great. Chansey's in here now, and Rob goes for a really smart trick. It gets to Eviolite, so and Chansey's taking more damage, and Drill comes back in to continue to apply pressure, because that's what Rob's been doing. It takes only 27% from a Seismic Toss, so Rob looks pretty damn safe now as the Mandibuzz comes in on another Iron Head to 35%. That's a really high amount of damage, so Magearna comes in now on a Foul play again, and all of a sudden, it almost looks as if Excadrill could just win the game, but wait. To make matters worse, Rob Jr. can now 2-KO with Flare Cannon if he gets rolls, but he actually doesn't even bother going for it. He just goes drill here. Okay, and it's going to take multiple seismic toss, so I don't see a way out for Philosopher here. Dragapult comes in now, but it's going to come in with an Iron Head, which is 64, leaving it at 24%. And to make matters worse, all he can do is just go for a Wolves. This is not even going to connect against a Mandibuzz. U-turn is going to get some 10% chip off, which is cool, but at the same time, Togekiss is going to get its heavy-duty boots knocked off, so any process of longevity is out the window for Philosopher. And while he does get the Mandibuzz in on the Toxapex to heal up, that is going to result in him taking a Toxic, I believe, yes. And all of a sudden, it just looks like Rob is just cornering this man. Togekiss now doubles in here on the Clefable, which is a good play for Philosopher, but he did take rock damage, and the drill can just come in now. I don't think this is going to be Flamethrower on the team. Yeah, it is no Cleric on Hyper Off on a Stall team, and you kind of saw a chance he is not going to have it because it's Stealth Rock, so it just had to be Toxic or Thunder Wave Blast. Anyway, Mandibuzz comes back here now on an Iron Head. Magearna comes back in here on a Roost. Okay, so Rob making pretty conservative plays, not trying to go for the flinch, but now Philosopher goes for the Roost on an Aura Sphere, and that does 44%. That's interesting. And now Chansey comes in here now, and it is also coming in on a Flare Cannon, which is 36%. Oh boy. Aura Sphere is going to take it out, and that's going to put Rob in a 6-4 position. He still doesn't have a Pokemon dead, as we noted. Now he goes to Mandibuzz here on a double for some unknown reason, as Magearna just nonchalantly goes for a Volt Switch. I don't know what the plan was there. I'm kind of lost as to what Philosopher is trying to do here, but anyway, the Clefable is able to kind of go in as he goes for Moonblast, and Philosopher tries to doubles the Mandibuzz in, and he forfeits his good game. So it's a 1-6-0 for Rob Jr. So as of now, Rob Jr. brought out his hefty Excadrill, his crafty Mandibuzz. Why am I giving every Pokemon a name in the title? What is this? No. Screw that. He brought his Excadrill, Mandibuzz, Toxapex, Dragapult, Magearna, and Clefable, and none of his Pokemon died. So the Nuzlocke challenge is still completely and fully alive. He can use any Pokemon he wants in the next game. Next up, Rob Jr. is against Void. Void is a really strong player, more known for his old generation play, in particular DPPOU, but he's definitely more adaptable than one might give him credit. He's had really good streaks in DPP, but he also was able to substitute in doors like Wcop and Snake previously. So definitely no slouch. This time around, Rob Jr. is actually using a team that I built. We built together, but I play large part in it. It is a really, really cool team. It has Alakazam, Cinderace, Hippowdon, Magearna, Clefable, and Mandibuzz. It looks really solid to me. Void bringing a solid team of his own has Urshifu, Rotom, Heat, Dragapult, Magearna, Corviknight, and Clefable. So now, at least Void is bringing Pokemon that actually do a lot of damage. Some of the most threatening Pokemon in the tier, like Magearna and Urshifu. So surely he can get a kill in this game, right? Well, let's find out. So right off the bat, we're going to see Rob Jr. lead off with the Clefable. All right, and Rotom Heat comes in here now. Alakazam to play on turn 1. I'm not sure about that. It takes 35% from Volt Switch as Dragapult comes out. So it looks like Rob Jr. is a little caught off guard by that Rotom Heat. And the Dragapult to add on insult injury hits a Spec Cylinder and paralyzes the Clefable after doing 43% damage. And now Magearna's in, and Rob has made no progress. And to make matters even worse, he's going to take a Critical Hit Flare Cannon for 29% there. So not looking amazing for our hero here. Is he going to potentially lose his Nuzlocke here? So he goes for Volt Switch into the Rotom Heat. He brings in a Hippowdon. Okay. That makes some sense of it. He goes... Oh, they trade Toxic, I guess? Yeah, they trade Toxic. Okay. I can buy that. That's fair. Now Corviknight comes in here, which is not a very common Pokemon. In fact, there's no Ghost Resist on the Void team besides Urshifu, which not much of a Ghost Resist. That's interesting. Anyway, Cinderace comes in here now in a Body Press, and that does only 26%, so it's probably specially defensive Corviknight. So Fable now comes in. That's no answer to the Cinderace. Powerball's going to have to kill, but Gunk Shot should be able to take him out if he has it, and he does indeed have it. So all of a sudden, it's now a 6-5 game for Rob, and this Cinderace looks far more threatening than it initially seemed. Rotom Heat comes in here now, and I assume he's going to be baiting a U-turn as Dragapult doubles in. I don't know about that, honestly. Just 27% of the Dragapult leaves it at 61%. Now the Magearna comes in, and there's no ground type or electric immunity, so Magearna can just Volt all over, bring in Alakazam, and now this is in range for Psychic, so what now? Well, the answer to what now is Rob Jr. doubles to Cinderace on the Magearna, which is an amazing play. And he just knocks it out with an Adamant Pyro Ball, presumably. Shelly might have been a roll, and I don't know if he'd risk it. Anyway, Dragapult comes back in here now. Mandibuzz, and he goes Flamethrower. Only does 33%. Rotom Heat comes in on a U-turn, and once again, Alakazam Food, Part 2.0. This time around, he goes Corviknight, and I think Rob just goes for a conservative Psychic. This time, not wanting to mess around. The only mid-ground, he goes Focus Blast, which does 40%, which is smart. And now he goes right back to Cinderace, which is honestly doing amazing things in this game. It's really impressive seeing what Cinderace is doing here. Rotom needs to play here, but that's going to take 35% from the Pyro Ball, coupled with 7% from Tox, 6% Tox damage, leaving at 7%. U-turn takes him out, so now it's a 6-3 game. All of a sudden, the Nuzlocke prospect looks a lot more healthy as Urshifu comes out and Clefable comes out for Rob Jr. to try and counteract that. And close combat only does a mere 43%. Well, only, it's still resisted hit, but yeah, no. Clef can stomach a couple of them as Clef, thankfully, is able to go for a soft build here. No, he goes Moonblast. Okay, my bad. But yeah, Rob's currently at 9-0. Now Dragapult comes in here now on the knockoff, and that just takes it out. And that's another great late game mid-ground play there by Rob Jr. to clean it out. Urshifu comes in here now, but there's very little reason for Rob to switch out. And his opponent didn't even try to get like a flinch or a crit for a kill. He just stays in close combats, and that'll do it. Yep. And Corviknight comes out here now, but Corviknight can't really break through like Magearna, and Cinderace is probably just going to go Magearna and then Volt Switch as Iron hits his 20%, and Rob Jr. has solidified a 6-0, and it wasn't even like he was trying to preserve it because if this was a bulk up Corviknight, then switches were very much needed. He could have actually lost to a bulk up Corviknight last Pokemon, believe it or not. So yeah, that is a 12-0, so this time around, Rob Jr. brought Alakazam, Cinderace, Hippowdon, and then the same three as last time with Mandibuzz and the two fire types, Clefable and the Magearna. But he still didn't lose anything, so he still has every single Pokemon in his hands. He could use whatever he needs in this third game against his perhaps best opponent yet, LopeyKicks of Team Italy. LopeyKicks made it very far in the official Smogon tournament. He's also made playoffs of things like he's made playoffs of a couple times. I swear to God, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe it's OLT. I think he's done well in OLT. Yeah, but regardless of that, LopeyKicks has done really well in a couple editions of Smogon Snake Draft and SPL, as well as some decent performances in World Cup. He's just been a really solid player for a while now. I regard him as, one of the top 20 or so OU players, maybe even 15. He's definitely, a strong player. I mean, you'd go for like one in the first 3 or 4 rounds in Snake Draft and, probably around 10K in SPL, so he's definitely a competent player. Rob Jr., on the other hand, is just coming in with a head full of steam. We're going to switch sides, so our protagonist is on our side, but he's using a team with Volcarona, Toxapex, Mandibuzz, Drill, Dragapult, and Clef. Actually, another team that I helped construct. Pretty solid team, all things considered. LopeyKicks, I'm using a team with Excadrill, Clefable, Alakazam, Dragapult, Mandibuzz, and Rotom Heat. We see a knockoff on a Combine turn 1. Now Pex comes out against Drill, and he just goes Scald. Pretty safe play, honestly. Now, I want to give you guys one little bit of insight right now that might help you guys decipher what's going on in the game. So, the Volcarona has a set with Substitute with EVs to live a foul play for Mandibuzz line Substitute, and it's modest in nature, so it's able to 2-KO Mandibuzz a +1, assuming it's a standard physically defensive oriented spread, which is common right now. Because of that, plus the matchup with Clefable and Ferrothorn, this is a really ideal Volcarona matchup if any damage is done to the Dragapult. And that can be done with a Fiery Dance turn, and the first time it comes in, just bring in Volk again later, or it can be done through other means as well. So these initial turns are kind of just a prequel to what might be later on in the game, perhaps. But regardless of that, it doesn't look as if at this point LopeyKicks is making all too much progress. Mandibuzz comes in here now on a nasty plot, and it's not Dazzling Gleam, Life Orb, Alakazam, and on top of that, to make matters worse for LopeyKicks, the Focus Blast is going to be dodged, so it looks like a really great position for Rob Jr. negating that progress right there, as he goes Dragapult, and he goes for a Specs Draco, which does 68%, which has a chance to 2-KO to Mandibuzz, but Drill comes in here now instead, knowing that it could potentially encounter something that it can beat, like the Clefable, but no. The play for LopeyKicks is Ferrothorn, which is really smart by LopeyKicks, not trying to discredit him, despite his placement in this video. LopeyKicks is the real deal. We're going to see some doubles here, and he gets the Clef in on Mandibuzz, which was really smart, but it's too little too late, as that's the hazards being removed there, and he barely does over half damage. And to make matters worse, Rob Jr. goes for a Roost on the switch out from LopeyKicks, but now LopeyKicks can heal up his own Mandibuzz, which is helpful for the cause, as Clefable comes in from Rob Jr., so feels like they're alternating a little bit, but regardless of that, we have some Clef on Clef action now, so for those of you into that stuff, hey, I'm throwing you your bone here. But that aside, we're going to see Combine here on a double prediction knock there from Rob Jr., and then LopeyKicks makes a great play and goes Ferrothorn here, knowing that he's baited a non-Nocturne, something like Toxapex to come in, and he gets the spikes up, so LopeyKicks is definitely positioning himself well, but Okay, we see Skull there and Alakazam. Dragon Ball comes in. Okay, hopefully he's hoping for a nasty plot, but I would want Mandibuzz because, yeah, that Psychic to 75%, leaving Dragon Ball to just 1. And to make matters even worse, Rob Jr. goes for a Shadow Ball and it only just wins into the Mandibuzz, so that's looking bleak. So now we have a Pokemon like in the red, like at 1%. Rob Jr.'s Nuzlocke is very much in jeopardy, so I don't know how he plans to get out of this. Well, the answer of the question for him is just go for knockoff a couple times, I guess, but I don't know if that's enough, really. Either way, we see some X-Drill and X-Drill action, and I can't help but think that the Mandibuzz is going to come in for both. And yeah, that's exactly what happens, but Rob Jr. goes for the U-turn, and he goes Clefable, scouting for something like Toxic, and it is in fact Toxic Mandibuzz. So if it's Toxic plus Foul Play, then Sub-Volk just completely stonewalls it, which is something to make note of for later on. Either way, the Mandibuzz from LopeyKicks goes for the U-turn, outruns the Clefable, and Clefable goes for Wish as the Mandibuzz comes in for Rob Jr., and it comes in on an Iron Head, which does only 23%. Now I assume we could see a U-turn trying to get something like Volcarona in for Rob Jr., and it is just that, and I assume we're going to see the Volcarona come in. Yup. Now the Volcarona actually is modest, so it could be slower than this drill, but it's almost as if LopeyKicks didn't want to approach that because he just went hard Dragon Ball, which makes a lot of sense considering they all run Timid in my experience besides this set. Anyway, the thing with LopeyKicks here is going Dragon Ball was an amazing play, but for Rob Jr., I probably should have chipped this because then you could put it in the +1 Psychic range later on. So going for a Fiery Dance or a Psychic here was just really drawback free, especially a Fiery Dance because it hit Drill, it hit the other Steel types that he could have potentially switched in, like Ferrothorn as well, and it gives you the chance for the ever so prominent special attack boost, and seeing as he's not facing something like Chansey or Unaware in this game, it's almost as if that could be very valuable, whereas going for the hard Quiver Dance still leaves the Dragon Ball in range to survive any 2+0 attacks or any 1+1 attack, and that's insufficient for Volcarona to function as a win condition. So because of that, after the Quiver Dance, we're going to see the Dragon Ball come in on a Dragon Dodge, which made Rob's play really smart because that's a physical Dragon Ball, so it would have destroyed the Volcarona. However, that is short-lived as the X-Drill comes in for LopeyKicks, and you're still wondering at this point, how did this man 6-0? It looks like he's kind of getting played a little bit here. Mandibuzz comes in now, and does Mandibuzz go for the Roost? Mandibuzz goes for the Roost as LopeyKicks short circuits for some unknown reason and goes to Dragapult and gets foul played for 76%. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, my condition for Volk is done. I don't know what he was thinking, honestly. I really don't think that was necessary, but either way, we see a U-turn here, and that U-turn is followed up by Volcarona. Volcarona looking really good in this game with that Dragon Ball weekend. Mandibuzz comes in now, hoping to get a Toxic off. Rob Jr. goes for the Quiver Dance on turn 1, and now goes for the Substitute on turn 2, not knowing that, with LopeyKicks not knowing about it, and to make matters worse, yeah, it does Tokyo, it does 51, and the foul play doesn't affect the sub. So yeah, Rob Jr. is just going to run away with this game, his third consecutive 6-0, all since, I believe, Friday or Saturday of last week. It's just truly amazing what he's done in this World Cup of Pokemon, and it's only the first round, so there's certainly more to come from Rob Jr. in the coming days. He's a really close friend of mine, personally. I love seeing him do well, but this was an even funnier experience. We see someone basically Nuzlocke the entirety of the first round of World Cup, which is a pretty hard time to get through, and he used Volcarona, Toxapex, Mandibuzz, X-Drill, Dragapult, and Clefable to do so in the last game, so definitely some overlap, but yeah, no, the Moth ultimately reigned supreme here, so let me know what you guys think of Rob Jr.'s dominant performance, and just a little Nuzlocke aspect of it I figured I'd kind of integrate into the narration. And yeah, have a great day, guys. I hope you enjoyed the World Cup content as well. And again, be sure to subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Thank you, guys. Peace out.